Here's your wrestling news for September 19th, 2021. And your headlines for today include: Vince and Linda were not on the flight. Former WWE commentator points out major plot hole in Dark Side of the Ring episode. WWE takes action on Ric Flair after Dark Side of the Ring episode. Ric Flair might get another bad look from Dark Side of the Ring next week. Story resurfaces of Shawn Michaels and Marty Jannetty using H-bombs on female fans. Former and current AEW and former WWE wrestlers spotted during Impact Wrestling television tapings. Impact Wrestling offers contract to top indie wrestler television tapings. Former WWE wrestler returns at Impact Wrestling television tapings, and more. We're kicking off today with 2002's Plane Ride from Hell, which was covered on the latest episode of Vice's Dark Side of the Ring. For years, fans have considered that particular flight as lighthearted ribs, but the latest episode of the hit Vice series has documented some of the horrific actions that took place. On Twitter, Jonathan Coachman pointed out a glaring error with the episode, which claims that Vince and Linda McMahon were on the flight, seated in the lounge area with Jim Ross and Terry Runnels. In his tweet, Coach said that Vince and Linda weren't on the flight, and in a subsequent tweet said that they were delayed getting out of London and therefore missed being on the plane ride from hell. Coach explained that there was just one person at customs, so it took forever to get through, especially as airport security would be extra tight at the time, less than a year after 9/11. Responding to a different fan, who said that the people may be confusing the plane ride from hell with the flight where Vince McMahon tried to take down Kurt Angle, Coachman said he thinks that's the case, stating that he knows what happened as he was on every trip to Europe for 9 years. The plane ride from hell was a dark day for the industry, especially as it came in the same week that WWF changed to WWE, and nearly 20 years later, the flight lives on in infamy, even if Vince and Linda McMahon weren't on board. There was a lot of shocking actions from wrestlers on the flight, but no one came out of Dark Side of the Ring looking worse than Ric Flair. During the 2002 plane ride, Flair exposed himself to female flight attendants and forced one attendant, Heidi Doyle, to touch his genitals, which Doyle painfully recalled during Dark Side of the Ring. Flair may no longer be working for WWE, but the company has taken action, as an episode of WWE Storytime has now been removed. The episode in question makes light of Flair's wild actions on the road and even included an animated nature boy exposing himself to a flight crew. Flair's actions have already caused his commercials with CarShield to be put on hold, and there's questions about whether he'll join AEW as previously expected, and now even WWE are trying to distance themselves from the controversial Hall of Famer. Flair received a lot of flack for his actions during the plane ride from hell, and next week's episode may be no better for the 16-time world champion. Next week's edition of Dark Side of the Ring will focus on Chris Kanyon, who said in interviews that he believes WWE didn't hire him because he was gay. During an appearance with Howard Stern, Kanyon called his homosexuality a well-known secret in the industry, and the shock jock surprised Kanyon with a call from the Nature Boy. This was a heated debate as Flair took WWE's side, saying Kanyon didn't make it because he wasn't a good character, to which Kanyon said, "You're only as good as you're booked to be." Flair also called being gay a choice, and in subsequent interviews, Kanyon said that Flair calling in did a number on him because it was a real shot from someone he looked up to. The former WCW star went on to say he thought of taking his own life after the interview with Stern in discussion with Flair, and would sadly do just that in April 2010, aged 40. Dark Side of the Ring could bring up Flair in a couple of ways during next week's episode, and this might not be the best look for him either, and we wouldn't be surprised if the Nature Boy got his own episode down the line. Flair is in serious trouble with the wrestling community now that more people know about his actions, but he's not the only problematic superstar. This week, a shoot interview with Brutus the Barber Beefcake resurfaced where he claimed that the Rockers used H-bombs to influence women. H-bombs, or halcyon, is a substance that can cause someone's judgment to be impaired and can lead to paranoia, suicidal thoughts, and even death. Brutus said, "Listen, the Rockers love those halcyons, man. They freaking boom. They'd drop them on all the broads, and then they'd get them back to their room, and they'd pass out, and then the Rockers would take the laundry off, and they'd have a good time with them, and then throw them out in the hallway and shit naked. Needless to say, they got in trouble in a few hotels." In Dark Side of the Ring, it was noted that Mr. Perfect used H-bombs during the plane ride to mess up several wrestlers on the flight. As shocking as these actions are, Rob Van Dam has said they were sadly common back in the day, and it seems that the Rockers weren't immune from such terrible actions. Over to Impact next, as the company held its latest set of tapings this week and included some names fans will recognize. Fightful Select reports that former WWE superstars Mercedes Martinez and Renee Michelle were on the show, as was Jake Clement, a former WWE referee. Lady Frost, who has competed in WWE, AEW, and the NWA in the 3 years since making her wrestling debut, was also at the taping. Impact Wrestling has proven to be a great place for aspiring talent to hone their craft and get better booking than in WWE, and we'll have to see if the likes of Mercedes Martinez and the rest sign with the company after appearing at the latest tapings. One name who called Impact Wrestling home for years is Christopher Daniels, who now holds a role in AEW as part of their talent relations team. After SCU's split, Daniels said he's not 100% retired from in-ring competition, and in that same report from Fightful, the Fallen Angel was spotted backstage at the latest Impact tapings. It's believed that the 51-year-old wrestler was on hand to wrestle at the tapings, but we can't say for certain until the taped episodes air. If he does wrestle, it'll be a huge homecoming for him, as he hasn't wrestled for Impact since 2014, and there's no shortage of dream matches that the Fallen Angel could have with the company's current roster. Impact Wrestling is apparently bringing back one of its veterans and looking to sign some names from WWE, but the company is also on the hunt for talent from the independent scene. Fightful notes that a few good indie talent were present during the Impact tapings in Nashville, including VSK, who's competed for Impact and AEW in the past, and who even had a WWE tryout earlier this year. Masha Slamovic also appeared during the tapings, bringing her experience from working in Japan, CZW, and more, and most recently worked the AEW Dark tapings against Hikaru Shida. It was also said that she was offered a contract from Impact, so she could soon be solely working for the company. Jamie Senegal was also present, and fans may remember the 24-year-old's work in GCW, Hood Slam, and Rise, or her appearance in the NWA Empower Battle Royal. Impact is certainly not lacking in available talent, and with WWE infamously saying they're focusing more on making their own wrestlers right now after years of focusing on the indie scene, a lot more names could end up signing with Impact Wrestling. And we're ending with more news from that taping, as an injured wrestler has made his return to the company. Fightful Select notes that during the taping, Heath Slater returned to Impact, but it wasn't noted exactly what he did. Slater needed several surgeries, which kept him out of the ring for a long time, but the one-man Southern rock band is finally able to wrestle again. The former WWE superstar signed with Impact after being released last year and reunited with his former teammate Rhino, who, interestingly enough, has just signed a new deal with Impact. We will have to see what's next for Heath Slater, but after spending so long out of the ring due to injuries, the former SmackDown Tag Team Champion is no doubt very hungry to get back to business.
Well guys, that's our news for today. Please share your comments below. Also hit the like button, subscribe to our channel, and hit the bell icon to receive all notifications. And as always, thanks for watching.